Bill Morneau faces tough questions today. Some critics are saying the Liberals botched the messaging behind their tax reform plan, including our next guest to talk about the effort in spending on marketing in this world. Of course, we got Tony Chapman here. I wonder if it was just a single word, loophole.
But I mean, I think that they were surprised at the backlash. I mean, they set the stage, summer doldrums, you're fishing off a dock, you're in a hammock, you're not paying attention. Next thing you know, they borrowed from the same narrative that got them elected, Robin Hood, steal from the rich to give to the poor. Okay? And then they had those beautiful memes the Liberals are so good at, sprinkling, loophole, the one percenters. They just had it all. They thought it was a perfectly paved speedway, a poke through jello. This thing would just be a skip in the park and then all hell breaks loose.
How would you go about selling a plan that revises the taxes that a small business pays without raising the ire of what they themselves would argue was the 97% who aren't taking advantage of what they felt were tax loopholes in the system?
Well, first of all, you don't shame the small business owners, because everybody has a personal relationship with a small business owner, or is in fact a small business owner, or a doctor. So we know how hard these people work. We know what they're doing, and they're the ones in our economy that create the most jobs and preserve the most jobs. So to paint them as villains and to shame them probably was the first big mistake. The second thing is they should have stopped and said, listen, this is about, there's a few people, a handful of people in Canada that are taking advantage of a system designed to let small business succeed. We're going to talk to those handful of people and change the laws that stop them from doing it. The other thing that you understand from the Liberal point of view is I think that they position of arrogance, that they felt that they could simply out-talk and out-shout everybody. Today you have social media. You're not in control of the message. You get an army of Davids suddenly coming up, and it's just this ferocious attack and push back. And I don't think they were expecting it. And the only reason why they backed off, because I don't think Bill Morneau's the guy that backs off, is the MPs were starting to run really scared.
Right. The Canadian Federation of Independent Business had a massive campaign talking to those individual MPs, trying to get them to talk to the finance minister, talk to the prime minister. If you were sitting in the sitting room of 24 Sussex Drive, what would you say to Mr. Trudeau about how you sell something like this in the first place?
First of all, they picked the wrong lead singers. You shouldn't get two white, rich, elite individuals to be the guys that are going to drive this message. You got a small business owner. Get somebody that lives and breathes small business to be the person that's going to deliver this and why we're doing this. Talk about how the change is only going to impact the few, not the many, would be the second thing I do. And as I said earlier, the last people you want to make as a villain is small business owners, because most people have a relationship with them. You said to me this is about chemical engineers. I don't know anybody. It's kind of just, it's like, it just bounces off me like water in a hot Teflon pan. But if you tell me small business, I start thinking about the guy that owns the Pony Club in the beach who I buy my jackets from, because I know who he's about, or me, that I'm a small business owner. It impacts me. I pay attention.
You paid attention to the amount of money they spent on the cover for the last budget book document.
I publish a lot on LinkedIn, and I wrote an article on this because I found out that they spent $212,000 to produce a cover of a budget book. We're not talking about the next Harry Potter sequel. We're talking about a budget book. Sure. $90,000 in talent to get people that represent the middle class. God knows how much internal bureaucrat time. And the rush job, as if suddenly the budget snuck up on them, even though they had 6 weeks. I was in the agency business. 6 weeks is a long time. So it just makes me realize that I treat my dollars as precious. The majority of my money goes to paying taxes in some form. And I realized after that government in general, I'm not just labeling the Liberals, because they borrow so lavishly and they take this tax, they treat our money like commodity. It's irresponsible to spend $212,000 on something a printer would have thrown in with the print job.
Okay, so, that's where I was going to go next. As a former agency guy, how much money is an appropriate amount of money to spend on what is essentially the face of your financial decisions? The
face of your financial decisions, you're going to be sending electronically. Spend $1,000 in royalty-free images. $1,500 on some font. I'm not exaggerating.
Go to Shutterstock and get the 22-year-old out of school to do it.
By the way, put it with a Canadian agency or get a Canadian university to do it. Went to a multinational agency. It's embarrassing, but it's not the $212,000. What else is going on with my tax dollars that people can think that this is a good use? This is better spent there than buying technology for schools.
Okay, so The expectation or the understanding is that the business community is breathing sort of a sigh of relief. It doesn't seem like the tax implications are as onerous as first imagined. What's the next step in the marketing of budget 2018 aside from a $200,000 cover?
Grow our way forward, don't bore our way forward. Go in there and talk about how we're building our economy, supporting small business, doing some of the stuff that was announced in Toronto in terms of Google. Take advantage of the celebrity of our Prime Minister and get him to go down and bring back foreign investment and jobs and economy and say that Canada, the new economy starts here, we're the party that's building it, and show me the money and show me the jobs. That's how you sell a budget.
All right, so distill that down into a social media friendly meme.
We're going to grow our way forward, not bore our way there.
Tony Chapman is the founder of Tony Chapman Reactions.